Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hope you all are doing great. I'm Mahabub, host of today's session with the global leader. So, the objective of this webinar is to share the journey of an individual, how um, they have utilized their skills, they are using some resources and some lessons from them, so that like our audience who are university students, they get an idea about like how people are doing things differently from different part of the world. So today we have invited Adriana. She is a student and doing so many amazing things, and we're going to learn from her. So Adriana, welcome to our session.
Hi, Mafa. Well, I'm really happy to be here.
Great. Can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. Well, you already know my name. You already know what I'm studying. I'm from Peru. I live in Lima, actually, the capital of Peru is a country in South America. And I study at the University of Piura. That is a really small university here. Um, I study law, and I'm in summer vacation, and I'll be entering in March to my last year of school. And right now, I'm working also as an intern in a law firm called Garrigues. I don't know if you have heard of it. It's an European and it has been extended to many other countries.
Great. So, can you share a bit about your student life? What did you do during that time, and your major? What do you study? And through your activities with different organizations, like volunteering or part time, what skills you have developed so far?
Yeah, of course. Well, I was actually more active in extracurriculars during my high school time. I was, for example, in debate in MUN Modern Nations, and I think that helped me a lot to create abilities such as leadership or interest in international law, international politics, public talking. And actually, that's why at the end of the day, I decided to study law because of all the interest and all the investigation, the research, all the skills that it allowed me to get and the interest it allowed me to get also. And that's mostly during my high school. I also was in some entrepreneurship courses that were extracurricular. Some of them were activities in many artistic extracurriculars as well. And I think they all help you develop like a full integral profile. Now, during my university, it was kind of different because the load of studies and homework changed a lot. So it sometimes it's harder. But um, what I did mostly was being like the representative of my classroom, of my grade. I told you it's a small university, so it's almost like a high school, but like for harder in regarding studies. So that allowed me to do two things. First one, create a solid network base, a solid network with my professors and the administrative personnel of the university. And I think that's really helpful because even though at first sight it doesn't seem like really important, it is at the end because they help you to get job opportunities. For example, the job I'm in right now, I got in because my curriculum was referred to it from a professor, and then another professor gave my reference and recommended my profile. So it's very helpful regarding that area. And the other one is because it depends a lot of what kind of university you go to, um, is what kind of extra courses or other kind of types, like courses, subjects, I don't know, activities they can offer you to complement and make you grow your profile as a representative. In my case, they gave many leadership, leadership courses. They were small. They were virtual during the pandemic, and that helps a lot too because that also helps you not only to grow your skills, but also meeting new people. And actually, meeting people can lead you to many opportunities. Um, and then I've been in mod courts, that is like model of trials in law, and that actually let me know my passion for arbitration. That is the field in law that I really love right now, and I'm working right now, and I see my future path in. So it's mostly all that.
Can you share about your leadership course that you mentioned? What did you learn through those courses?
Of course, yeah. Well, I think leadership courses usually tend to focus on the same like pillars, the same topics, like public talking, communication, identifying problems and then resolve it. But one that was really interesting, one was that I did with Transparency Agency, and another university here, that is Universidad del Pacífico. That is a business university. And they were my alliance, and they chose two representatives per university from different universities in whole Peru. So we were like 30 people from different regions, from Lima, from the jungle, from the mountains, very different. So the ideas we had and what we could bring to the table in the discussion were very different. And they talked, for example, about mechanic leadership and adaptive leadership. And the difference is that there are some problems that are mechanic, like, oh, I need to do some paperwork, so I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, and this. And it's always the same dynamic. And then it's adaptive leadership, where you have to identify the problem and adapt yourself and adapt the solutions to it. And the second one is actually not very common because you need a lot of self-awareness of yourself, of what you're good at, on your weaknesses, your prejudices, your misconceptions you have, and also you have to be aware of the team you have, so you can exploit at the maximum their own abilities. And that was the best leadership course I've been in. To be honest, they really give you these extra tools that sometimes seem obvious, but it's not really easy to apply to.
Wonderful. And what made you decide to do this leadership course? Was there any
Um,
particular reason?
Actually, it was an opportunity. I am like a very participative person. So usually when there are these courses or these extracurriculars that I always want to be in, because I know that even though it can be a bit stressful, at the end it helps you in some way. Of course, I don't overload me because the result will be of the opposite, but I try to do that. So I was in this course in 2020, and the offer came to other representative of my university, the four or five, no, yeah, the five persons we were at that moment. So it was like, who of you are interested? And I really like the idea, so it was just like that. It was mostly casual. But then I've been able to work as a teacher. There's an auxiliary of teacher of the teacher teams in that course the year that came next. And pandemic was a little bit already off, so the people were different, the priority of people were different. It was harder to make this group of people, with this group of students, actually invest their time in. It was a challenge, but I think we made it right at the end. And it's always so enriching to talk to people that come from so different backgrounds.
So it's good that you had a reason, like to do this kind of course or activities. Can you also like volunteered as a community manager? What was your role there?
Oh, well, Moroyana was a think tank of university students here in Peru. So it was like a research group of different students from many universities. San Marcos, that is the biggest national university here. Católica, that is the biggest private university. And I went there because there was this convocatory, this call, this open call. And I used to be really interested in politics, and I wanted to write there. So at the end, I did a couple of articles that actually one of them was regarding fast fashion, and that's what led me then to be an H&N collaborator. That is an NGO from Argentina that has a consultative status in the UN, and I got there also. What the things were connected, and people networking was really important because a friend of mine passed me the open call for H&N, and I got able to get in because of among the reasons for this article, because I presented an interest that came from before. But well, going back to the community manager in Moroyano. So basically, I wasn't in charge of social media, so it wasn't like really a big job, but it was my entrance to right there and have the opportunity to use this platform.
So, do you had any mentor when you were a student?
I don't like a mentor in specific. I don't know, but I think I am able to learn from many people around me. Like I think I have really good role models. Um, I have a solid family for myself, to be honest. So my parents are really present, and we are able to talk about different things regarding life in general. And then I have had good teachers in school and good professors, and also my group of friends were always kind of like me. They were always very participant, had their priorities really marked. So we were like a group that keep um, cheering each other up. And during university, the same happened. Maybe I didn't have the same group of friends, but I had some professors that were also professors to my mom because my mom went to the same university. So like they already knew my family and they already knew what kind of people we were. So they were able to invest maybe some extra time than other students too. And since I was very participative, they like could notice that I had this interest into growing. So the I think many professors have this like tendency to see like when one of their students really wants more, if they can, they give you more. So yeah, that's mostly it.
Great. And you studied law, and what is most interesting about this major? If you share a few of the things that how studying law is has an impact in your also personal life, how it is shaping you as a person,
To be
your
honest,
major.
I think law is a huge part of my personality. So my profession is really important for me. I really like law, and I started to it really not very interested. I was more interested into politics, not really about law. And I was like, oh my god, law is reading too much. How boring. But then I learned to actually like it, and now I'm working in something that is very law practical. Like my lab that used to go for politics, I tried it and I didn't like it, and now I'm focused on law and trials and stuff. But what I really like about law, it's like two or three things mostly. One of them is that it's pretty logical. Like all the law is like I say it as a big system, and everything works together. And the second thing is that this big system actually applies to our society, so it helps us to understand society. Like the law is all around us. Is even when we pay a taxi, is when we want to cross the street and in red light or green light. Law is everything, and it helps you to understand how society works and how things are expected to work, and the contrast in reality. Because many times the law doesn't adjust to reality, and if you want to improve it, you have to understand both. And also and since it is everywhere, you can see all this logic system not in abstract. And probably this is like the worst and most ignorant example I will give. It's not like, I don't know, pure math that you don't see where you apply to unless you're like a super engineer and understand rocket science. But law, you can actually see it everywhere and you can apply it everywhere, so it's closer to you. And that's really what I like a lot about my career. And also, since it is a huge system, and it is everywhere, the ideas around it are very different. You see people thinking this, I don't know, the sale of someone of something works one way, and other people, and there are other group of people that thinks it works the other way. So at the end, when you're in a trial or you're in front of a situation you really want to fix, you have many creative expression, creative freedom to use this perspective, or maybe um, you link this concept with each other and create something new, and that's really stimulating and really exciting for me.
Amazing. Can you share about as an intern what task you do what are the tasks you do every day, and uh, the skills necessary to perform those tasks. Did you develop those when you were a student, or you are learning it, the skills to do the task?
Okay, perfect. Um, so right now the law firm is my third job. So the skills I have right now, they are not all there right now. Of course, the job I have currently, I started it in October. So of course, they represent new challenges. But I think I've seen many different of situations since I started working around 2021. So first, in 2021, I was in this NGO that is the translation in English will be Private Anti-Corruption Council. And the job here wasn't regarding much about law. It was more like a press job, and I ended up being a parliament coordinator. So I was representative of this NGO at the parliament, at the Republic Parliament, and that's also what led me like have a closer look into politics and how they work, and that's at the end why I didn't like them. But the skills that this particular job let me get was analysis, a lot of analysis, because you have to understand like what's going, but not only analysis, like I see this document and I can understand it, and I think this is wrong or right regarding this, and this topic, or this and that. It's an analysis of situations that are happening right now, like this parliament votation, or why this particular congressman or congresswoman presented this law project. It's a different kind of analysis that you have to get. Then time management. It was my first job, and I still studying. So it was a challenge regarding that, especially because in the parliament, the sessions and they can change, but also they can cross with your schedules, your class schedules, or your homework schedules. So you have to learn how to manage all that also. So that was the first job. The second job was in a company in the legal corporate area. So this was more focused into law. And it was mostly a mechanic job. It was my first approach to law, like pure law in the practice, because everyone was more pressed. And of course, it was very fun, but it was a completely different perspective. It helped me to understand more my major and let me realize that I had actually learned stuff during pandemic because that was my biggest concern. So yeah, and the half I am right now is law, but not in a mechanic way, but also in an analytical way. So it's a mix between those two. So I'm really able to analyze different documents and different arguments and different perspective. I'm able to also um, fix problems. A problem solution will be the name of the skill, because they present you different kind of cases. Some of them are really complicated, and you have to see how to match one thing with the other and fix it. So yeah, that's a big skill right now. Also, more hard skills, not really soft one, but hard skills like technical writing, maybe sometimes technical speaking. I'm also seeing a lot about negotiation, but it's really different. One thing is a negotiation in politics that actually regards a lot of personal interest, and the negotiations around law that of course they come from the personal interest, but a different kind. It's more like strategic in the sense of we're looking for a particular outcome, and we don't have the time and we don't have the need to give all the circles and all the paint and all the beauty that has to have in politics. We are going straight to the point, and also the strategics are easier to manage. So yeah, that those are the skills. So it will be like problem solutions, time management, and stress management also. Also had to work a lot in teams in the different kind of jobs. So I guess with team management also, um, and analytics, analyzing.
This is very very powerful skills to have, like analytical ability and team management leadership. It's like is a requirement for every single like jobs or business in the world. Is very important. So, can you share one challenging moment in your like student or in your internship that you overcome somehow?
Of course, being honest, I don't feel like I've had this points in my life that turned everything upside down. I think I had some maybe some stressful moments. For example, January last year, January 2023, I stopped working at the NGO, the anti-corruption NGO, from one moment to another. So it was really hard for me. First of all, it was an emotional shock because I really liked this job and we had like many plans, but at the end, the circumstances were weren't in our hands, in the hands of the team. So it was like emotionally, it was a shock, and also in your habits because you usually are used to having, you wake up, you I don't know, take breakfast or go for a run, whatever you do, and then you start working. Or I used to make my day around the session I had to do or the work I had to do. And it was like so different because it was like a whole habit, a whole routine I had. And also it was hard to seeing want to invest my time, want to invest the money I had left because also you stop having income from one moment to another. So it was really a shock. I started almost immediately looking for jobs, and it was hard. It isn't easy to get a job, to be honest. And but I almost mostly trusted that at the end everything will come all right. So that was like a moment I had to really um, and further to strong my resilience and my frustration tolerance. Another one I will say maybe recently was in my job. It's a new job, and of course, you have this honeymoon phase where everything goes good, but after a couple of months, maybe problems start rising, and you start um, crashing with your teammates. In my case, I started crashing with my boss, and I only respond to I have like one direct boss, so I have to work with him all the time. So that was also hard because I had never happened to be in that situation, and of course I think I can manage well my emotions, but at the end it's not kind of pretty. Isn't pretty to go to an office and have this tense environment. Also, there was an opportunity I think to learn first of all to communicate even with your spirits, to say like this and this makes me uncomfortable, I want to fix this because I want us to have a good relationship, not because we need to be friends, because I don't expect my colleagues to be my friends, but because a good relationship and a good environment at the end helps both of us to get better work done, and also to learn what kind of things you can take personal and you can like be angry for, and what other things you can let go. um, the moment I realized I had to let go many things that made me uncomfortable in the job, and maybe just learn to deal with them. And I'm not saying like whatever, no, like I'm really like be okay with them, accept them. Is I can't control everything, but I can control how it affects me. So maybe this comment, or maybe this, or maybe that. Okay, maybe they are not okay, but I can make them to not affect me that much, and don't make me be unhappy in a job where I actually love what I do and that I'm in the end enjoying, and I don't let this circumstance in particular that is temporary affect it.
This is a very powerful mindset. Like don't let like our external factors affect your internal peace or inner peace, stuff like that. Let it be outside. So this is also very very important. And you're also a collaborator. So as a collaborator, what is your role or what do you do, and skills you think is a must to be a good collaborator?
Okay, in H&N, I am a collaborator, a volunteer one. So I don't have like this specific time schedule that the H&M workers has and that I've seen with people I've worked with. I have worked with many like directors and coordinators of H&M and also the same founder, and they are always with a time escaping from their hands because they have so many things to do. As a collaborator, you had, in my case at least, you have periods of a lot of time, and then you are able, since you're a volunteer, to say like, okay, right now I don't know, I'm starting exam, so I won't be able to help. And then if you want to come back, you have also periods of really heavy workload. Now, as a collaborator, I will say time management a lot. Usually in H&N, you have really big projects that could be research projects or actually making projects. Like, I don't know, have to go here and there to teach classes. So it's a more like to do project. And also have some many events where H&N shares what they are doing and seek for foundation rising. They are working a lot to make create awareness around on the main topic that is fast fashion and how the fast fashion industry affects the world regarding especially in the environment, in the social issues such as modern slavery and stuff. So I was able to help mostly regarding coordinating events. The work is demanding. You have to have a lot of time management, stress management also, because sometimes you will happen to have nights without sleeping and one thing and the other. Also, I think you have to be able, I don't know the name of the skills, but to be able to improvise, to have changes of last minute and to adapt to it. So maybe a fast response, problem solving maybe. And also you have to be patient and be able to make public relations because you're going to meet people from very different backgrounds. I mean, I have the opportunity to meet people from India, from Sudan, from South Africa, from the UK, Argentina. So working with people that are so different is sometimes can be hard. I mean, the times are different. Right now is I think it's 5 p.m. for you, it's 7 a.m. for me. Even though the time can change only 2 hours, that's hard. Also the ideas, because some maybe here in Peru it's normal to say some kind of stuff, but in other country can be taken as rude. Um, or the style of working, maybe for me it's okay to work until 11 p.m. at night, but for one person it isn't. So all these cultural crashes and these cultural challenges have to be overcome. And also I think and this isn't a skill, but it's something like it's really nice, is that the people I had the opportunity to meet on H&N, they are all leaders. They are all people that started their own initiative, their own startup, their own, I don't know, NGO, their own movement, or at least they are really interested into creating a positive effect in their community. So it's amazing what they all have done and what they all know, and they all can bring to the table and make you grow by their own way of thinking. So it's really interesting and it's really beautiful to just appreciate that and seeing what kind of day is that, because at the end, like, I don't know, like opens your head, I think, your brain.
Great. And what do you say, students who are currently studying at university? Uh, can you suggest how they should develop their skills? They should develop their knowledge to make themselves future ready. If you suggest some must-to-have skills for students before graduation, what could be those skills are?
Okay, first, and sorry if I'm repeating these skills too much, time management is really important to organize yourself. Especially if you want to try many things, it's important to organize and order your priorities. That's the first. I think that's the key for everything, because then you're able to free stuff. So actually, time management, I think it implies it needs a lot of self awareness regarding how much time do I take to do this, or how much time do I need to study and stuff. Second, it's not a skill, but it's more like an advice. I will say trust, like trust in yourself, and don't be afraid of trying new things and for asking stuff. You know, many many extracurriculars or many opportunities I've had. It's not because I was waited for to be chosen, but because I actually said like I want to be here. Let me in. And even though it can be maybe a little bit embarrassing at first, it actually helps you a lot, and it gets you the opportunity. So it's better to ask and get a no, or ask and actually get in, than waiting and don't even have this certainty. Then I will say also trust in your abilities, in what you can do. And maybe this is spiritual, but I trust that even though things aren't okay right now, they will be okay. Even though right now I'm having a bad time or having a stressful time, I know that tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, in the next week, this bad time will be past, and actually I will be able to learn something from this bad time. So this bad time actually helped me then, to take the opportunity. So also you have to have trust. Like I don't know, I just if you separate it, take it. And yeah, and I think the other hard skills like writing, analyzing, I don't know, the skills that are more related to academics, I think you can earn it with time. With a different kind of work that you do, you have to learn in time. That's requires more patience. Also, will say maybe communication skills is really important, and that's really important for teamwork, and also yeah, for teamwork mostly, for when you work with a team, with your colleague, your classmate, and also when you try to communicate with your superiors. So that will be all.
Thank you so much. I mean, this is it's like actually also shape. We will also help them shape as a better human being, because as a person in a personal and professional life, in both cases we have to maintain this. Like like we have a team. Like when we are in family, we have to act like like a responsible person. Like we don't harm the members of our family. We do things together. But this is similar in professional sector. So the more they like do or excel or good like practice their skills, that they will be very efficient in both professional and personal life. So Adriana, thank you so much, I mean, for sharing your lessons, sharing your journey. Like Peru is a wonderful country, and studying there, from there, listening to your stories and some lessons you have shared, information or insights you have given to us through this program to our audience, it is going to create an awareness among them that how people are doing things around the world, how they have developed skills, how they are implementing those skills in their work, in their professional activities. So, on behalf of School of Entrepreneurship Development, we wish you very best of luck, and thank you again for the insightful session that you have shared with us.
No, thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, and have a good day.
You too.